So then we move on. And so they bring the parents. They send for the parents, and the parents come, and they ask the questions. Is this the man? Is this man your son? And is he the one you claim, was born blind? And if so, how is it that now he sees? And so the parents say, okay, well, let's just start with what we know. We know that this is our son. And we know, this is undeniable stuff, we know that he was born blind. Undeniable facts. These are the things that are real. These are things that everybody can see. This is the truth. But how he can see now, or who opened his eyes, we don't know. We don't know. And in fact, I want you to know something. Hey, why don't you ask him? He's of legal age and he can speak for himself. And this is very important, because here's the reason why. They said that because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders, because the Jewish leaders had already determined that anybody who acknowledged Jesus as the Messiah would be kicked out of the synagogue. And so that is why they said, ask him, he is of age. So what I want you to understand here is this. This is so important. They had a worldview bias, and their worldview bias, these religious leaders, is this. The box is Jesus can't heal. Jesus won't be the Messiah. And you don't do miracles on Sundays. You don't do miracles on the Sabbath. And so here's the deal. If you can use the definable ways that we have said that miracles can happen, and if you can fit into the way that our preconceived worldviews are, then that's fine. But if you can't, then don't bring it to us. And we're going to keep hampering you for more and more truth, because it's got to fit into the way we think it should go. And so let me just push back for a minute, because this is to you, or this is to somebody you may know or may meet this week. Some of us have been raised in homes. Maybe it's a Jewish home. Maybe it's a so-called Christian home that really isn't Christian at all, because we don't think Christianly, we don't act Christianly, we do the church thing, but the rest of our lives are totally separated from God. Some of us have been raised in homes where we have another religious background, or our parents kind of were skeptics, and they kind of tried to go to great lengths to explain God away, to do life with A plus B equals C with no God involved. Some of us have become skeptics as we grew up, because we lived in that kind of disconnected life. We lived in that kind of skeptical home where we disconnected God from the rest of life. I'm going to tell you something. Some of us have a worldview bias, or you have people in your life that have a worldview bias that is negative to Jesus being a part of it. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't acknowledge that, then you will never have the humility, you will never have the trust like we talked about, you will never come to God on his terms like we talked about last week. Why? Because you're not willing. And could it be that God wants to show you something bigger than A plus B equals C? Is it possible that God wants to open the door of your heart to let him in, that it might be something that he'd want to use his power, that he'd want to use your heart to have a miracle in it, that he wants to do something in your life that's bigger than what you can do or what your parents told you would happen in your life? It's a bias of worldview. And God says you can't have that bias if you're going to come to me with open hands.